All right, so what is exactly the purpose of this book? I already explained that it kind of just documents the beginnings of the church, right? But really, it wants to emphasize the role that God plays in the beginning of the church, right? So um, this wasn't just human action from here on out, right? We see a lot of miracles worked by Peter and Paul at the beginning. And really, what they're doing is they're just following orders from what Jesus told them to do. He told them to go and do likewise, right, and to spread the good news. We are talking about what is the good news. The good news is that, right, through our faith and through good works, we can be saved. Through our faith in Jesus Christ, we can be saved because this is God's ultimate way of bringing us into Himself through His incarnate Word, right? So no longer, right, Christians believed from the beginning, no longer did we need to make lots of sacrifices, right, with bulls and lambs and stuff like that, because Jesus provided the ultimate sacrifice, right? And by participating in the Eucharist, which He established for us, we could essentially bring ourselves closer into communion with God. So it was trying to show God's hand, right, in the development of the church. The book is trying to explain how the church is, at its heart, we are a missionary church, meaning that evangelization, right, and being Christian go hand in hand. We, as part of our religion, it's expected of us to not only save ourselves, right, but also to bring the message of God and the message of Christ to the entire world. And then lastly, the Acts of the Apostles spends a lot of time trying to communicate important theological truths that were agreed upon in the early church. So if you put yourself in that context, right, let's say that you just experienced Pentecost, and maybe we've all experienced something really powerful and religious in our life, like a funeral or a wedding, and we walk away being like, man, I really want to go make a difference in the world, and I really want to make a better name for myself and be the best person I can be. And what happens is, 3 days later, 2 weeks later, that effect starts to wear off, right? And certain people start falling off, and maybe one person that you really agreed with doesn't agree with you anymore. So it was difficult in the early church to keep everybody in line with certain theological truths, right? So the main focus early on was, do people need to become Jewish before they become Christian? And when we read Paul's letters, we will start to get a sense of this idea that you do not need to convert to Judaism before you convert to Christianity. So Acts of the Apostles documents some important theological truths from the beginning, and it's just very moving, I think, to me, to witness how far the early church leaders are willing to go to spread this good news, and how much they're willing to risk their lives. I mean, Peter, this guy who, in the Gospels was kind of a wimp. He denied Christ 3 times. He wasn't really there to stand up for Christ. He wasn't even there at the crucifixion. Now he's going out and he's got a newfound spirit, a new energy to spread the good news. So that's the purpose of the Acts of the Apostles, and I think you guys are going to enjoy reading it.